give this video a like and subscribe!
All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be, and welcome back to Honey Badger Arcade. My name is Brian. I'm here with John, the problematic white guy, and this is the Week in Culture, where we discuss the sort of gaming and cultural news of the week, but try to do a little bit of a deeper dive into some of these things and talk about maybe some stories that not everyone is talking about. So, first of all, I'm going to greet everybody in the chat. So hello to Mr. 0303 over in Rumble. Hello to Murder of Crows. Hello, Art Fours. Hello, Norwegian Black Templar, also in Rumble. Hello, Stream Elements. the Stream Elements bot.
Indeed.
All right. So, John, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm awesome as always. Actually got a good amount of sleep for what I've been busy with all week, which I was showing you yesterday, and I'm been hired to do some editing for Scooby Pup. And last night when we were doing the Friday night, I basically said, hey, if you want to keep doing this, where you supply me with clips every few weeks, we'll just keep generating out little sizzle reels. So I'm going to be making a whole bunch of animations of hot girls dancing to music, I guess, and try to practice some of my old editing skills and shake the rust off and see what I can do. But I really can't complain. Just finishing my coffee, so at some point in time I'll be drinking that, and otherwise I'm just 45, so I just have a general kind of upset stomach some mornings, and at least the coffee helps. So but otherwise, it's a great time, and ready to get into this.
All right. Well, I guess we should just jump right into it. So first of all, we are going to be talking a little bit about Steam Next Fest, mainly like how, let's say, how exciting some of the demos are, especially in the indie scene. That's like what I've noticed, that the indie and AA space is really stepping up. But we're also going to be talking about, firstly, this lawsuit. So you guys remember last week we were talking about I think it was last week, I talked about how the Gabe was being sued by, or he was involved in a legal battle against Lee Rothschild, and it looked like he was going to win.
Right.
And he did win, or at least it looks like he's not going to lose. But unfortunately, now he's being sued by the state of New York for completely unrelated things, which is a weird timing, if you ask me. Like, he beats one lawsuit by a Rothschild, and all of a sudden there's another lawsuit. I'm not drawing any conclusions, but it seems like odd timing. So, but I think he might win this one too. So anyway, on February 25th, New York Attorney General Letitia James, you might know Letitia James as the woman who failed to basically like throw Trump in prison on nothing, on bullshit, involving his real estate, right?
Yeah. She had her own real estate issues. Yes.
As it turns out, right?
Indeed.
So anyway, New York Attorney General Letitia James, with her massive track record, filed a lawsuit in New York Supreme Court, New York County, accusing Valve, the maker of Steam and games like Counter-Strike, Team Fortress 2, and Dota 2, of promoting illegal gambling through in-game loot boxes. So they're suing for loot boxes, guys. Well, the core allegation is that Valve's loot box system meets New York's legal definition of gambling. Users stake real money, buying $2.49 keys via Steam Wallet, on a chance-based outcome to win random cosmetic items like skins, hats, etc., which have real monetary value because they can be resold on Valve's Steam Community Market or third-party sites for Steam funds, indirectly convertible to cash. Odds heavily favor low-value items, 80% for cheap mil-spec skins in Counter-Strike 2, mimicking slot machines with near-miss animations and addictive variable rewards. The suit claims this violates New York Constitution Article IS-9 and penal laws, and there's like all of the legal mumbo-jumbo, promoting gambling in the first and second degree, especially harming minors, no age verification, 13 plus self-check. So like, age verification insofar as If you're 13 or over, you can like basically say I am 13 or over, so I can play this game. So they're basically saying no like real ID or anything like that. Yet kids dominate, especially young CS esports pros. Studies show early gambling exposure quadruples addiction risks. This is according to studies, leading to debt, theft, mental health issues, real world violence ties from gun glorifying games. James called it quintessential gaming that's addictive, harmful, and illegal. This is see this James. I want to see who this James person is. Hold on, that made this claim.
Well, I always think.
Oh, it's the Attorney General James.
Right.
That's Letitia James. That's who it is.
Yeah.
So she's using this stuff to like, justify this lawsuit.
Right. Because we all know how many times games led to war throughout history.
Yeah. Well, these are like old, fucking, very old, like Johnson. What's his name? The guy, the Mortal Kombat and Doom guy. His name was Johnson. So I forget the first name.
Yeah.
Or am I wrong about that? It's been a long time.
But it's the same guy. Hot coffee.
Yes. Wait, is it the same guy? Yeah. I remember. I remember that the guys at Midway, before they became cringe, they made like a special fatality that you could do on him specifically. I remember that you could like kill him and Jack Thompson. Thank you, Zach.
Jack Thompson. Yes.
Yeah,
thank
Jack
you.
Thompson.
Yeah.
Yes. But Jack Thompson has since like retracted a lot of those comments, and his primary concern was children. So I'm not even gonna say it's the same as what these people are doing, like people like Letitia James and New York. So as of today, they just filed this suit. Things are just getting started for Valve. No public response, no court filings, no motions, no hearings, and no official comments despite outreach from media like Ars Technica, AP, and Engadget. Gamers are split online. Some back anti-gambling pushes, others decry overreach, but legal experts view New York's case as a long shot. Courts have dismissed prior loot box suits for not fitting traditional gambling. And judges hesitate to expand old laws without legislatures acting. Steam funds aren't direct cash. Resale is indirect. So it's a novel case, but I'm bringing it up not because this is an issue to do with the loot box itself, because loot boxes are something that can be a problem. I'm not a big fan of them. I think that if you can earn them in game, it's fine. Like Overwatch, for example, when I used to play it, I never spent a dime on anything, and I like unlocked a lot of stuff just by playing the game. So if you can do that, I think Star Wars, one of the Star Wars games, Battlefront games had that, like one of the later ones.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I'm saying if it gives you the option to spend money on it, then whatever. I don't really care. It's you can do with your money what you want. But my issue is not any of that. My issue is that they're using the existence of loot boxes as a pretense to try and break Valve. And I think that's like the real conversation, right?
Right.
Like, so yeah, I don't know what you think about that.
Well, it is, like you said, convenient timing of all. It is almost seemingly a humiliation ritual of sorts. Just kind of putting someone through, because like you think about how loot boxes have their own connections to Pistain Islands. I know we won't go too far probably into that, but Epstein himself, one of the things that was found in there is about how he's really kind of behind doing all that kind of stuff. So the timing that they're just kind of putting this off on yet another thing that can kind of distract from that, especially somebody that is going up against these people, because you said it was it the Rockefeller or the Rothschilds that he won his case
Rothschild, Lee
Rothschild. Right. Yes. So if it was Rothschild directly, I mean, Epstein was basically the mouth of Sauron to Rothschild being the actual eye
makes you
itself.
wonder why they're going after Steam so hard.
Right. So yeah. I mean, it does just kind of seem all too convenient, because I too am not a big fan of profiteering, tokenization, the commoditization of things. You can bet on they call them trades, like Kalshi and all that kind of stuff that they've got now, where you can like basically bet on predictions of things to happen, and they just pay off. So,
but yeah, that's what I'm saying.
but
People
yeah,
turn everything into gambling. It's
right,
it's far from being a
right,
video game thing,
right,
right?
right,
People
and
bet
yeah,
on like like elections. They bet on sports. Obviously, sports betting has been
right,
huge lately. Like
right.
I see it everywhere, and I'm like,
Yeah, so the singling out of Valve does seem a little bit hollow.
very, especially because New York is, like a big sports city as well. And I'm sure that lots of sport, I mean, isn't what's the guy's name? Dave Portnoy, who
Yeah,
he's like a big
the
sports bet
Barstool
guy. Isn't
Yeah,
he in New York or
yeah,
the state of New York at least? I don't know.
somewhere
Sure.
around there, but I think it's that, or maybe Boston. I don't know. Barstool guy. That's what you're talking about,
Yeah,
though.
Barstool Sports. That's the guy.
Yeah,
Yes. Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, no, Gavin is not in the files, Art Force. That's kind of like, this is the thing that's interesting is, like Blizzard, because I just mentioned Overwatch.
mhm,
Activision and Blizzard do loot boxes all the time. And I think it's in a lot of their games. Now, I think Overwatch was doing it in a way that was reasonable. Even again, like I just didn't pay attention to the mechanic at all. I just
mhm.
played the game and then I just got rewarded with loot boxes. But I think I like companies that are that big. I think isn't the guy from Activision in the files? Like the CEO
Bobby
of
Kotick.
Activision? Huh?
Kotick. Yeah,
Yes, Kotick. Yes,
yeah,
totally.
yeah. He's
And
he's totally.
this is important too because it really, people talk about like in terms of the Epstein files, we're talking about like elites,
Mhm. I
in
prefer to call them
various,
parasites, but
not just what?
I say prefer to call them parasites because they're just in
Well,
positions
yeah,
of
but I
power, but they
mean,
feed upon the host. But yeah,
yeah.
I know what you're saying.
but but my point is that we're talking about elites, and I think that I'm sure that my audience doesn't think this, but a lot of people don't consider the gaming industry to be on par with like things like Hollywood.
Right.
And if I said, oh yeah, this Hollywood celebrity's in the files, people will be like, oh yeah, of course, sure, Kevin Spacey, right? I think George Clooney is in there.
Yep.
A couple of women from The View are in there. Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, they're both in the files too.
Yeah.
And so this doesn't surprise people. But like the video game industry is much bigger than Hollywood. It's bigger than TV. It's bigger than music. So why wouldn't there be people that have been approached or courted or brought over, for this kind of whatever the fuck Moloch worship they do?
Some worship
it
Moloch's, some worship Baal, but ultimately
Moloch,
it's
Baphomet, whatever.
Yeah, ultimately it's all about worshiping transhumanism.
Yeah. So,
Anyways,
so yeah, just like I don't know how this is gonna go. I think that it's a long shot, and again, it's not just bad because of the reason I said it would set awful precedent. In fact, I would guess that most large studios that engage in this kind of practice, and not necessarily just gaming studios, but also, like people, people play betting games on their phones, right? They play slots and like what are the other ones? They do like casino things, like blackjack and shit like that.
yeah,
They do that on their phones, right?
right,
So
yeah.
they'll. I mean, one
Kick exists as a way to kind of launder online betting.
Oh yeah,
gains. Yeah, the company that owns Kick is an online betting site.
Yeah.
So yes, Kick's just kind of it's there to that. That's why it's a lot of people say that it's so botted is because it's not really even about having a viewing audience.
It's so botted.
It's about having a way to kind of cycle.
It's weird though because some people really made it big on Kick with like human beings.
Right.
I think like as my
I'm sure it's like anything. The size of your community builds out, which actually I know it's not something that we have planned to talk about today, but my friend Tomby, who helped me with the FFS Discord all the way back when, he started a new independent website called streamers.com that's all about content creators and stuff like that, so to rally around and not have to worry about the stuff that Discord's doing and shit like that. I don't know if it's got like a full-on community connection point right now, but it's a hub for like all sorts of stuff, especially if you do online live streams for overlay arts, um, all sorts of crazy stuff. But I know it's not really the point that we're on about, but it's kind of there in terms of ways that you can do stuff to kind of deal with where we're at with this shit, But anyways, like I said, I don't want to go off the rails too much about it, but it just kind of got me thinking about it tangentially.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, I don't have like a whole a ton of stories today, so but all right, let's look at what you guys are saying and then we'll move on. I suspect that this is going to go nowhere, but I thought it was worth pointing out because there is another attack on Gabe, and I don't think it's going to stop with this. They'll probably find something else. So it makes you wonder. Just gets me thonking. Give it me a big thonk. So
yep, exactly. No, it does. It just is one of those things that seems quite convenient right now. Like Gabe gets.
All right, let's see what you guys are saying here. So let me see. Good morning, Master Goa. Hello, welcome to the show. Norwegian Black Templar says the Eye of Sauron is gazing upon Gabin or Gabe N.
Yep.
Mr. 303 says loot boxes are gambling, but they are far from the worst offender. Yeah, that's exactly right. Their priorities are all backwards. Then he says the CCP gotcha garbage will just laugh at their faces. More of those are coming too. I don't know. I think people are gonna get tired of that anyways, because the game's got to be good, right? So
ultimately.
Yeah, Norwegian then says they don't understand that if Valve is at fault for this, then every gaming corporation that applies gambling mechanics is. Yep. Art4 says Valve doesn't set item resale prices. They don't.
Right. No, that's the market itself.
Mm-hmm.
It's just an open marketplace for people to, save some money with just a point progression system. As much as things are commoditized, you get points for using Windows these days that you can cash in for this and that. Everything has become so tokenized and commoditized. That's kind of the state of reality that we're in. So to go after Gabe, I don't know, it's just kind of one of those things where before Grand Theft Auto 6, Gabe gets got after by the
Gabe's
NWO.
Done two lawsuits against powerful individuals before GTA 6 comes out.
Right.
I didn't pick GTA 6 as one of the stories, but I'm sorry, that's going to be a disaster. Like I'm calling it now. I think that they're doing a bunch of rewrites, and it's probably because the winds have changed, and they're trying to adapt to make sure the game sells. I think they may have. How much have they spent on developing the game at this point? If anybody knows.
I can't. I'll leave that to people in the chat.
Yeah, if you guys know, let me know. If you guys can I think it's like coming up on $1 billion. That's insane, but it might be
easily.
Anyway,
I mean, it will make money still, but yeah, it's
not if they're at a no. I don't know, maybe, but I
think about how many people went along with COVID. We live in
I know, but I mean, I think a lot of those people woke up from that too. I think that the COVID was a wake-up call for a
good amount, right. But I know people that are happily waiting for it. I don't want to take too long.
Sure. No, I know. I'm sure there are.
But it is clear that they certainly had some plans. I wonder if they're going to make the LGBT parade something that you can actually run over and cause violence in.
No. Yeah, well, exactly. They're gonna have pride parades in the game. What are they gonna do? That's exactly right. But okay,
anyway. I'm getting that. Yeah.
Okay,
keep moving forward.
Mr. 303 says, I refuse to play games with loot boxes or microtransactions. Norwegian says, meanwhile, no one bats an eye at the Vegas Strip. Well, yeah, because who runs Vegas? Gabriel Phelan Lucas says, Gabe in a boss rush. Yeah, it's a boss rush mode. Zeranx gives a Rumble rant. Thank you, Zeranx. And says, it would be awesome if we just started referring to loot boxes as Epstein games, really put a negative light on it, and say any company that employs it is sus. Well, yes, that's right. Jeffrey Epstein was one of the people who like pushed like essentially loot boxes into the mainstream.
Right. That,
So-
and he was one of the people behind 4chan, which oddly enough, it was the Anons there that exposed the Pizzagate files all the way back
Yep.
when, because
Mhm.
they said, "Hey, are they using the same coded language that we are?" It's like, yeah, the people that were behind the site are the ones that gave you a place to
Yep.
use. So they just made it. It's kind of one of those weird connections where a lot of very questionable people who seemingly are involved in this do like child protection charities and things like that, and somehow they just the rot as it applies to all that stuff is there's a lot of people who put on a direct mask of what they're doing. It's like all these politicians who preach the family values then get caught at an airport in a sticky situation in the men's room,
Truck stop. Yeah.
right, or some shit like that. I mean, but yeah.
All right. Anyway, okay. So let's see. Gabriel says Vidya is the #1 most lucrative entertainment industry. Yeah, it is way up there. Art Force says the argument just seems insane. Loot boxes are gambling because people can resell items. Yeah. Goodbye to every TCG. I was just thinking, like, are they going to sue Magic the Gathering because, like, or any of these collectible card games, like Yu-Gi-Oh? Is that what?
In the '90s
right
when they
now?
came after Pogs,
Pokemon?
they said that we were all
I mean,
gambling and recess.
Yeah.
Well,
collectible, any collectible card. Like when I was growing up, there was like baseball cards. Remember baseball cards? You can get those with a piece of gum, and you were trading with your friends. Like, is that gambling now? I don't know. Like, because you could, like, there were commons, uncommons, and rares, just like anything else. So, Zerank says, I saw a short showing alleged twerking mocap footage for GTA 6. I said it was blatant marketing and turned me off even more to the game. I saw the thumbnail for that. I didn't watch it though. Yeah, I mean, the thing is too is that it's getting to the point now where I think motion capture has its place, but it's getting to the point now where there's the line between like actual, I don't know, video game art and just like real life is like really blurry because they're just motion capturing everything. So if they're motion capturing everything, then are you even like how much of it is a video game? Like, I mean, I'm saying, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's,
if they're using it as a training model for like a gate or something like that, but it still has some system of independent control rigging over it, I can see it as a good way to kind of train into it. But yeah, at a certain point in time,
I just think
canned scripting.
I just think that a lot of games are being a little bit too. They're trying too hard to be like movies or TV, and I'm not saying that's what GTA is doing because I don't know, but a lot of games have, especially like the David Cage ones, for example, where
I think.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I think Rockstar is just paying the DEI tax because of it being one of the.
100%. They totally leaned into that,
yeah.
and now they probably have to undo the damage. So
the best they can, yeah. Because they still have to some degree plausible deniability, but games, if the game doesn't get put off again, but I still have the same thumbnail ready to go. I have no problem updating it again and just making the joke for what the fourth or fifth time. I've used the same thumbnail like so many times, and I just keep updating it. It's like delayed again.
Murder of Crows says like the Suffragette in Red Dead Redemption 2. Yes, a lot of people were but didn't they like make it? I don't know if it's true, but I think I'm gonna do so. Like right now, I'm glad you brought up Red Dead. Right now, I've been playing Fallout New Vegas, right, as a game that I intended to finish or start and finish. So I don't know how much longer it'll be, but I'm guessing I'm on the 3rd DLC right now. There's 4 DLCs in total, and then there's the end of the game. So probably like a couple more months of Fallout before I'm finished because I just started the 3rd DLC. After that's done, I think I'm going to go back and play Red Dead 2 because I only started Red Dead 2 when I first picked it up a while back, and I haven't played it since, so I really feel like I should finish. Now, my wife's done like basically everything that you could do in that game. But the reason why is because I think that people, and I've said this before, people are under the mistaken impression that Rockstar only started going woke after some of the DLC for Grand Theft Auto 5 came out, like some of the later DLC for GTA 5.
Right.
Like Andy Pants Gaming made a whole video about it. It's been going
Oh, yeah.
everywhere. Everyone's talking about it.
I mean, we've talked about.
I would argue that Red Dead 2 was pretty woke, and I it's not as in your face. Like they're not like holding up signs telling you.
We talked about this all the way back when it was they were instituting their trust and safety policies and everything that they're doing through the terms of service, just kind of flying in the face of the nature of what the game even is. So it's like, how can you have verisimilitude when you have a corporate structure that's doing everything it can to not have this just be what it's supposed to be?
Yeah, you could see traces of it in Red Dead 1. Yeah, for sure. I love Red Dead Redemption. I thought it was a great game. But it was definitely some weird stuff, like and I think in Red Dead 2 even more, it's like more obvious, especially when you consider what the game is trying to adapt, like what it's trying to do, which is basically like, it's like the West, and it's definitely a time period that's not like today. And but it all seems so anachronistic when you are playing the game. And I'm gonna probably play the game and try to highlight those things as I go, because I think that people they're still not seeing how deep the rot is, and they see it when it's right on the surface. Like I said, GTA 6 probably has it right on the surface. Or if somebody points to Dragon Age: The Veilguard, Guard, it's like, yeah, obviously. But a lot of the stuff is very subtle, but it's there, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. So
you're talking kind of to some degree about the sigil magic and the symbology, and how there's more honesty in fiction than truth in the news. You just have to know how to read it.
Yeah.
Not to say it's like media literacy. It's kind of media literacy is one of the things that'll teach you to see that stuff in a hive mind mentality of stupid bullshit that kind of tries to scapegoat what it's actually doing. But
yeah, exactly. Yeah, everything comes from the current. It's like the modernist viewpoint, looking back at the time while the characters are existing in that time. So, but anyway, that's quite a digression. But I think my next game is going to be Red Dead Redemption 2, and I'm going to try and enjoy myself, because I do think that there's a lot of good in that game. I mean, probably most of it is good, but there's stuff that people just don't see, and I think there's other things that are a little bit like, I don't know, like they're trying too hard to immerse. Like, you go into like a building and you have to open every single drawer. It just takes forever. It's like, I just want to pick stuff up, But anyway, that's again like a digression. But let me see what you guys are saying. Then we're gonna move on to the next story. Just a brief one. So let me see. You guys are just talking about twerking. Gabriel says you should be done next month. I guess with Fallout. Okay.
I guess
says you can see Trace in Dead. What?
I was gonna say. I guess at this point, I'm getting paid to have virtual women twerking and just editing around it. So
yeah.
Sign of the time.
Domino says Louis Levi talked about how woke Red Dead 2 was when he was still making videos. Yeah, I talked to him a little bit on Discord years ago. We talked about Red Dead 2 before he made that video, because I had just started playing it. And we had a little back and forth. It was on Discord though. Like I think I meant to have him on the show. I don't know if I ever did though. But I'm over at Honey Badger Radio. But yeah, he was very astute. He could see that. But anyway, that's a little bit too paradigm shattering for people. And so it's not, again, I don't think people were ready for that level of truth at the time. So, okay. So let's move on to the next one. Thanks, guys, for your commentary. Remember when I talked about Mothership a couple of weeks ago? It was a website. It was like a website, like a new journalist website for like queer people or something.
A lot of the fallout from the recent layoffs at other places, yes.
Yeah, and a lot of people that work at Mother. It's basically like run by a bunch of women and troons, and they were going to be doing games journalism, but you have to like subscribe and pay them and stuff, because they're not able to like make it in the industry these days. So first of all, game journalism itself, at least in the in the like, you know, let's say professional sense, like if you're on Kotaku or Polygon or something like that, is not what it used to be. It's a shadow of its former self. It still exists, but nobody really cares about them as much anymore.
I think
And
get
so,
better coverage from people that
yeah, like
operate at
gamers,
this level. Yeah,
like there's plenty of like just regular gamers that just, you know, record some footage and they just talk about their
yeah.
game and that's it. Like they're not,
Doctor Disaster, J Viper, Hypnotic.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
Smash JT, obviously. You know, a lot. Of, there's
yep,
you know, so many places that people watch around here that get better coverage on things. You know,
yeah.
spend the
So there was
entire show
this,
listing names.
so I joined Mothership. I didn't pay them. I
Right,
just added myself to their email list so I
right.
could see what
But
they were going to
yeah,
be writing about.
I do the same
Yeah,
thing with GDC still. Which
GDC.
yeah,
Okay, there you
reminds
go.
me.
Yeah,
I got some new emails. I need to check, see if there's any kind of insanity in there.
yeah. So and I was curious, like what kind of articles they have, right? So I
Mm.
thought I would share a few
God, this is be a new segment,
a few titles. I'm not going to read the articles because most of
right?
them
Our
are
paywall,
what?
paywall probably.
Well, most of them are paywalled, yeah. So they'll just give you like a little bit of an opening, and they'll be like, "Want to read the whole story?"
Right, right.
Oh, yeah. But some of them are relatively like bland. Like there's one opinion piece that's called "Video Games Need to Do Better Than Treating Skin Like Skins." Painting skin color as an inconsequential aspect of identity erases the unique ways Black bodies navigate the world. And then they show, I'm not kidding, this is real. And they show like some, you know, like boxing game. It looks like a River City type of thing. I actually kind of
Yeah,
like this art style. And
yeah.
because there's a guy with dark skin and spiky hair, they're like, that's not black. So, you know, this is the kind of stuff that you can expect to see. There's Dear Mother, here's another one. They have advice columns too, guys. I don't know if
Oh wow.
you know that, but what's this have to do with video games? Dear Mother, what do you do when the fascists get you down? When you're acting in good faith, it's hard to understand that other people simply aren't giving you that good faith back.
Oh, for
And
fuck's sake.
there's a lot of there's a lot of shit like this. Advice columns, really.
Right, right.
But here, this one jumped at me as my favorite. This one jumped out at me as my favorite, at least so far. I didn't want to lose too many brain cells, so I didn't like read too many articles.
Right,
But
right.
this one struck a chord with me and it made me chuckle. A not at all mandatory list of video games Black folks should play at least once. And I mean, I didn't get into the reasoning because it's one of these again behind a paywall.
Right.
So, but here's the king of the universe or whatever from
Katamari Damacy.
Katamari Damacy and the protagonist from Gravity Rush and this one from Jet Set Radio, I think. I don't know what that has to do with Black people. I guess this Jet Set thing is because of the music. And I would, you know, it'd be shitty of me to assume that. But what the first game that they recommend that's for Black people, Def Jam Fight for New York. And look, it's a good game. Like I thought the Def Jam, the first two were awesome. They were very fun to play. And they kind of like, they didn't take themselves too seriously.
Right.
But also it's really funny that they're like, what's a good game for Black people? Well, this one's got rap and fighting in it. But I don't know if you guys have ever played Def Jam.
I think it was Vendetta when it turned into a side scrolling. Yeah, when it became the side scrolling fighter.
No, they were both. Wait, wasn't Vendetta? It wasn't a side scrolling fighting game, was it? No, I think that they were both kind of like in
the first one was a wrestling game, straight up.
Yes, I think you're right.
Yeah,
and then the second one was more like you can pick different martial arts styles.
Right. I might be getting the names a little bit confused because it's been forever. But the second one, we made a character called Shovelhead, who was just like this little squat dude with like the most blown out face. Yeah, no, it was a great game.
You made a character named Shovelhead?
Yeah. I mean, it was like his
How
face was.
customizable how good was the character customization in that?
It was pretty great. You could make. We made like the super deformed dude though, short as hell and like fat, wide, and named him Shovelhead. Yeah, it was. It was good times. But yeah, I mean, I can't fault the games, like, but it is kind of funny.
Is that generally your approach? Is when you get customization, you just make your character as freaky as possible?
It all depends on what I'm doing. Because like I said, I got gifted Fallout 76 on Monday night, so I made a version.
Okay.
I made a version of myself in that because it's not too terribly hard. I actually I'll send you an image in Discord if you want to bring it up. But I know
Sure.
All right. Yeah. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
Yeah, Norwegian says I'll be disappointed if Relooted isn't on the list.
Right.
Well, I don't know. I didn't see the full list. I just saw the first item, which is Def Jam 5 for New York.
Relooted to the reparationing.
The what?
The reparationsing.
Yeah, the Relooted to the reparationsing. I don't know. Relooted's not making any lists right now. I think the only people playing it are hate playing it. Like they're playing it to shit on it. I just did the demo and I was like done. And look, it's not that it's a bad concept or even a bad game, but like it's so subversive. Like it's trying to rewrite history, and that just like offends me at my core. It's just lying about history.
Right.
Like, no, we're not doing that. No, thanks. It's gross, but anyway.
Yeah.
So, did you send it through?
Yeah, it should be in your DMs.
Oh, let me see. Hold on. I'm gonna look at your thing. Oh shit, that's pretty good. I'll just drop it in here and share it. So there you go. That's John's Fallout 76 character.
Problematic.
Is that when you were on the? Then when you create the character in your sort of like how Fallout 4 opens up. Okay.
Yeah, you're right. So chronologically, it's the first game in the series. So you're at Vault 76 when it opens up, and so you literally just do a character creator and talk to a few bots on your way out the door. So I didn't want to like make it look exactly like me, but I was just kind of playing around, see how close I could get it in a way that's like, oh, looks like it'd be related to me. But yeah, that's problematic, Jordan. So yeah, I did that in about an hour, just kind of messing around with it on Monday when I got gifted a copy.
Gotta get some sunglasses now in the game.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, that is one of the first priorities. I'm not lucky enough to be like Toasty. She just went walking around. And everybody.
Oh, you can't do a little bit of gray though, because you have some gray, don't you?
I wish. Unfortunately, you can't do the facial hair independently colored from otherwise. Because if I could have, I would have gone with the full throttle beard. I still might play around with it. Because like I said, I just kind of threw it together. Because I was quickly trying to see what all was in there because we're just getting into it. But it's got a pretty good editor, and you can always make an alt character. So if I wanted to give it another go around, I haven't really done anything yet. So, yeah. So, but yeah, just one of the many things I got into this week. But depending on what the game is, I'll either make a character that looks kind of like me, just because I know what my own face looks like. But otherwise, I'll make silly ass looking characters and whatnot in fighting games and things like that. Because you just make a roster, and so why not make super deformed characters?
Yeah, for sure. And I think the mothership article too. I think that what they're getting at is honestly, if you're not playing a game that has either black characters in it that you play as, or the ability to make black characters, then you shouldn't play it at all, or it's not for you, which is ridiculous. Like if you're that pathetic, then okay. But anyway, all right, let's move on to the next one. Let me see what you guys are saying before we do. So let's see. Norwegian says there was a Baphomet hand sign in Forrest Gump when Jenny goes to a hippie event. As above, so below. Indeed. Yeah, a lot of people miss that stuff. I saw like a pretty good video. There's this channel I've been watching lately called Screenwashed. Have you guys ever heard of this channel, Screenwashed?
Can't say I have, but I might have to
you
check
haven't,
it out.
or you have? It's brand new. They do videos on movies that essentially like are more like subversive than you think, and it kind
Oh
of
yeah, the
explains
symbology and the
how.
sigil magic.
Well, not yeah, but also in the way that they're written, like there's like an emotional trick that he talks mostly about how it manipulates people through
How they
these
get into
kind
the
of like
algorithmic, yeah, using sound cues and all that kind of stuff.
yeah, like the music they use, the
Mhm.
tone,
The
these
psychological conditioning.
these kinds of effects.
It's
Yeah,
mass
essentially
formation
psychological
hypnosis.
manipulation.
Yeah, yeah.
And he did one, well, they, I guess, but it's a guy that narrates it. They did
Mm.
one video on Mary Poppins, and I was like, wow, I hadn't seen Mary Poppins in a long time, but he basically talked about how absolutely like irresponsible that movie is. And I thought it was excellent because Mary Poppins sounds like the most innocent thing ever, but it's actually really and if you didn't know this too, the Disney version of Mary Poppins, which is what he was talking about specifically,
Mhm.
completely changes the story of Mary Poppins. The tone is completely different from the book, and the
Right,
woman who
right.
wrote the book hated the Disney version.
Not
So
too surprising.
yeah,
That
and then he did one on Stepford Wives,
Mhm.
the film. Now, I mean, some of that stuff is really obvious, but some of the stuff that he points out that's interesting was that Stepford Wives as a movie was a complete failure when it came out. Nobody watched it. No one was interested in the message, and
Right.
yet they pushed the message of the Stepford Wives in our culture in other ways until it became a thing. Like, so if anybody knows about Stepford Wives and what that movie means, it's not because anyone watched it. It's because the media talked about it and they referenced it and
Right.
they, made allegories to it to essentially try to normalize it. So, like, if it doesn't become normalized in the mainstream, then there's a new way that they try to normalize it, right? They do it through by some extension, right? They do
Mhm.
it by linking things to Stepford Wives, right? So
Right.
that was interesting. And I think his last one he did was on Forrest Gump, the most recent one. And I've never seen Forrest Gump. I wasn't interested in that. People were actually like kind of upset that I didn't want to watch it. But I was like, I don't like Tom Hanks that much, and I'm just not that interested. I don't. I
Time
mean,
proved you correct on that one,
he,
sir.
he's like, I don't know what the big deal is. I thought he was fine as Woody, but like that totally replaceable. Like that's basically
Right.
like I'm just really it's not even that I had like a bad vibe. I just didn't care. He just doesn't strike me. He's like Steve Gutenberg from the Police Academy, and just not that interesting to me. Just
Right, right. He
but
occupies space.
yeah, but the Forrest Gump thing his approach was different, but I think it's also true. He didn't notice the more demonic references in that, but and of course everyone hates the female character in that movie. I don't remember her name, Julie or something.
Jenny.
Because she's just like a
Jenny.
complete mess.
Yeah.
But he makes his observations about that film are quite interesting because he says that ultimately Forrest Gump is about submission, like submitting to the system and never thinking for yourself and just
Mhm.
doing as you're told.
Oh yeah.
And he explains that because Forrest Gump just does what he told, everything works out for him. And this, well, at
Just be
least for the
smart,
most
tart,
part,
be
except
autistic,
he gets
and
AIDS.
yeah,
But
stay in
like
your lane.
but that's when I guess when he thinks for himself is when it
Right.
happens. And the girl is the opposite. She always she goes against the grain, and her life just gets worse and worse. And then when she finally decides to fall in line is when things start to at least she finds peace in that. And so he's basically saying it's now again, I don't know what his opinions are on things like fate. But that's an interesting take that he had on that. So but yeah, I mean, I'm sure that I never saw
Oh yeah,
Forrest Gump, but I'm sure that that's true.
yeah. Well, I mean, there's all sorts of stuff when you get into the dark side of Disney. Touchstone Entertainment in and of itself is an occultist reference.
Yeah.
And yeah, they want, because ultimately the end goal is they want smart, tarted automatons that just stay in their lane. That's why the push for autism amongst the various ways they reinforce it through gene therapies and just poisoning of the food supplies and all this kind of stuff. I mean, there is a lot of predictive programming pretext. There's a reason why I would say there's more honesty in fiction than there is truth in the news, and a lot of it is about this occultist, esoteric, moon speak kind of reasoning, and it's kind of like the whole thing on if you were fool enough to trust me, then the karmic debt is upon you because I told you, and you should have known that I was a lying piece of shit from the beginning. And so, it's a form of legalism and usury that's just kind of been stitched into the fabric of everything since forever. And yeah, you see it a lot, especially in Disney properties and and like the stuff with Nickelodeon. Even the old logo looks just like Disdain Island amongst and the thing with the foot thing, and
oh yeah,
I don't want to get too far down that because
no, that's all right. It's all right.
Yeah,
we're talking about Dan Schneider from Nickelodeon.
The Schneidering.
I will say, and maybe we can talk about this some other time, or I wanted to make a video about this a while ago. I watched that documentary miniseries about Dan Schneider, and while I think that there was a lot of inappropriate stuff, unfortunately, the series, it did a really bad job of convincing me that he did anything wrong, because there was no real, it was a bunch of allegations and a bunch of crying, but there was no evidence. There was nothing substantial. And that's a shame, because if I learned that he was up to something, it wouldn't surprise me. But the problem is that, like, we have to be very, very careful when it comes to these allegations. They're very serious. And the documentary, at least, did not at all condemn him. So I just don't see it. And especially because of the way that these people were acting, it was like they were more angry that their careers died than that, he may have done something to them. But again, there was nothing, I don't know if you saw it, but there was really nothing.
Oh yeah, there. No, we covered it to a dark degree on Will's show one day. It's one of the few times where Will's actually kind of taken an episode down, because it became just a deep descent into darkness. So I don't know. When in light of where we are, I don't trust. My current MO is DTA on anybody, especially people that operate at high levels of various forms of potential compromise to corruption. Because at any level, especially when you're talking about where they operate from in Florida and things like that, there's a whole bunch of things that just kind of the agencies that are employed in child entertainment specifically, that's a whole other deep dark web in and of itself. And so there are levels and degrees of all that completely stitched into that whole system, and that's part of the reason that they do put the symbology and things like that in there, because otherwise because it's how they're able to kind of hide away that they're getting kids to do these things and for these ritualistic purposes, at the end of the day. But it's just it's for acting. And then I don't know, it's nothing that's at the surface these days that meets the eye directly should be taken as 100%. I don't know. I just try to get a lattice work of information.
I mean, I think if people have if they're committed to believing it, I'm not going to tell them they can't. I just think that, we should be very careful about, again, making allegations without real evidence. So, but anyway, let's see what you guys are saying, and then we're going to move on to the next one, which I think you guys are going to like. So, Zering says, I don't like making myself in games, even though I've been told I sound like a white guy. Many of the male voices feel wrong when paired with my face. Norwegian says, I made myself in New Vegas by picking male Caucasian, then one of the presets, silky smooth character creation.
Yep. Yeah, no, my characters are generally pretty easy to make. It doesn't take too long to edit really around. That's what I usually try
to think up a concept and I make the character based on that. I think the only time I ever made myself was ironically in Fight for New York.
Well, like I said, I only do it. I do it because when I got into art school, I went in because I wanted to do character creation, and that one of the ways I learned how to do character editors, because it's like you could actually judge against something objectively. So I could see how test the one what it's capable of or what I'm capable of. So I
felt a little dirty about it though, to be honest. But I did do that. But most of the time I just do an idea. I think when I played Fallout 3, I made a Latino greaser guy with like a dirty mustache and a thin mustache. I mean, well, and then what?
I was gonna say in this instance, the reason why I made it look like me was because it's I'm gonna be doing live streams with it. So
sure, no, that's fair. Yeah.
So it all depends on what it's for.
Yeah. When I played Fallout 3, Well, that's why I said for 3. For New Vegas right now, I'm playing like a guy. I tried to make him look like Clark Gable, like one of those like old Hollywood actors, you know.
Yeah.
And for Fallout 4, I started a little bit of a Fallout 4 game just to see how it's different because people have different opinions on them.
Mhm.
I made like a about as attractive as I could with the game as it was. And I made her a woman, like a blonde bimbo, like really low intelligence, you know, like just like
Nice.
really attractive and really good with people.
Nice.
And so, yeah, so I want to see how it works. I want to see if it matters, you know.
Right.
So,
right. Yeah. No.
Anyway.
Yeah. My second time through, I'll definitely always switch it up, and I usually go with a female character at that point in time, just so I can do different playthroughs, be a little bit more conniving. And
I usually play male characters if I give the choice. It depends, but I wanted to see how that would work. So
no, it's a good game for playing.
And the truth is, if you make a female character and there's like a perk you get that lets you do more damage to male characters.
Yes, there is.
There's more male enemies, so you're just gonna
Man-Eater.
Yeah, Man-Eater or Black Widow or something like that.
It's Black Widow. Yeah, Man-Eater's for cannibalism, and then there's of course Lady Killer, but yeah, it's Black Widow.
Yeah, but there's more male enemies in the game, so you're basically it's a no-brainer. So anyway, anyway, let me know what you guys think about this one in the I got a Rumble rant, sorry.
Indeed you do.
Xerax gives Novafan gives $1 and says, wasn't the mother in the Disney Mary Poppins movie a first wave feminist? That part has aged like fine wine given the outcome of her kids. Yes, but she was presented as kind of like a useless character. Like, so she was like doing the whole thing, like she was trying to get the vote and all that. But it was because she had so much free time. So it had more to do with, it was more of a comment on her status, not necessarily her activism, because she wasn't the character you're supposed to like. It was Mary Poppins you're supposed to like. So to relate to. But yes, she was. She was a suffragette or a suffragist. I'm not sure which. Okay. So let's move on to the next one. We're going to do a little follow-up on Highguard. So
gotta get it in while it's before it's too rotten, because the freshness.
Highguard, it's not looking good. So on February 26th, Bloomberg's Jason Schreier published, quote, the story behind the failure of Highguard, revealing that Tencent Holdings, Highguard's secret primary founder or funder since 2021, has abruptly pulled their financial support roughly 2 weeks after the free-to-play shooter's January 26th launch due to catastrophic player retention failure. 90% drop-off in 1 week. And they only had a peak of 100,000 players. That is not good for a game of that side. And look, it was free. It was free to play. It didn't cost them anything. Highguard developed, well, it didn't cost anything to play, but nobody wanted to check it out.
I can't believe Jeff Keighley's pushing of this game wasn't 100% organic, and it was actually directed by a foreign investment opportunity that now has completely decided to pull out when it all goes tits up. And it's almost as if Tencent gets by on the idea of sinking Western developers and then putting out good games themselves, ensuring that they have a better chance in the market, playing both sides. Wow. Sorry.
No, it's fine.
I mean, Highguard is this is tragic. But who could have seen it coming?
It is tragic.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's like tragically hilarious. I mean, this is an epic fail. That thumbnail I made of it doing a face plant, I mean, everybody saw it for what it was. It was a simple gag, but this is so Concord territory. Yeah.
So, all right, what were the issues with the game? At launch, there was an overly complex, bloated mechanics, voice chat dependency, so you couldn't really play it on your own. Large empty maps, tedious looting and mining remnants, missed without broad testing, hubris in chasing Apex's secretive success amid saturated hero shooter market, which is another issue. Is very saturated market right now. It got mixed reviews. And again, if you're a gamer and you're looking for even if you're looking for something new, like if you're not fine with playing, Warframe, Destiny, Team Fortress 2, Overwatch, Marvel Rivals, not Raid, what's the one? Apex Legends, whatever. I mean, I'm sure there's more you could think of.
Oh yeah,
Then
endless.
why would you, even if you wanted something new, this wasn't really like up there, even because there was already so much available.
Right.
So anyway,
everybody's clamoring to get in through the door when the room's already filled,
and they're all trying to do the same thing. And the truth is, nobody really wants that. So they have basically pulled their funding. Now, I did see Tencent pulled, and I mean this game's on. It's not long for this world. It's not on life support. It's in hospice. Like it's basically, only
they already cut all their various stateside managers. This thing was made by proxy. It was fronted in America, but it was this was all a way to see, can we captivate an American audience by basically paying for just a placeholder development house, and and everything was outsourced. This was all just done via algorithmic means. It was carried out by people, but this could have just as well been done by AI. And that's why I always say DEI hires are intended for AI fires, because this is just the offloading and the destabilization of things. Amongst the problems we have with the DEI in the games industry, the other pervasive kind of thing that's under the surface is you've got China kind of playing both sides of the coin by putting out stuff that seems incredibly based, and it's like, well, I'll put off to the side, like, it's China because at least it's knowing that a game should be fun first, and then also at the same time they're still funding stuff like this that's just complete and utter just algorithmically driven bullshit that's made by people that don't really know what they're doing. They just want to go and probably hang out and make TikTok videos during the day about how great it is that they have a job in the game industry, and it's but they're all just managing time while stuff gets done offshored in the first place. So it's good riddance to this thing once it's completely over and gone. But
I mean, I saw a video that a woman who used to work in game development, like a big developer, she made a video about what the team at behind Highguard could have done, because she was very sympathetic. They're going to lose, a lot of guys are going to lose their jobs, and this is a shame. It is tragic. I'm not celebrating this loss. I don't think they were trying to.
No, they were a jobber put on the main event of WrestleMania back when that used to mean something, and it falls flat on its face, and it was not ready in any way, shape, or form.
No,
it was platformed, and it was taken advantage of to a degree. It was set up to fail. It either succeed or fail based on if this is going to work. And again, you can't just treat this like a top-down consumer model where you could just shovel out stuff on people and they'll just take it because it's the new shiny thing. It's what we're always talking about on why a lot of this stuff doesn't work. If it's driven by a profiteering motive, it's probably going to end up ringing hollow, because it doesn't actually have anything to legitimately say for itself. So anybody who's employed in a system like that, it's unfortunate when you get fired, but ultimately it's the market correcting itself, or just actually being the thing that's being more honest and keeping us actually with customer power, rather than just being tokenized through the consumerism practices that they would otherwise try to get over on us in various ways. So,
well, what she suggested, and this is what I was gonna say, and hopefully they'll do this. She said that firstly they should not have revealed the game in the way that they did. She doesn't think that the Game Awards is the way to make these kinds of announcements. She also thought that there was a little bit of hubris, because they thought, Apex Legends did really well, this is going to be fine, and it didn't work out that way, because like they were trying to ride on that as
I totally agree with her.
Brand power. But more than that, she said ultimately what they should have done was they should have put out a beta test, let people try it, they get feedback, and then
build some organic interest. Right.
Yes.
Well, no, they never should have put it in the position it was in, but there's a reason why we say that award shows are stealth marketing. and that's because they are.
It's not even
There's nothing.
self-marketing. It's just
It's
marketing.
blatant. Yeah, at this point in time. Yeah. It's so in your face, and just so when you actually do say something like this, it that did it no favors in many ways. That kind of tipped the hand of, oh, this isn't actually a legitimate game that should be worth anyone's time, because it didn't. A more confident developer that was actually concerned about their longevity would have gone about it in a different way. But with it just being basically a shell corporation for just trying to see to monetize a player base, and just seeing how well that could be done via a proxy developer, and have all the other stuff taken care of where it's offshored. It was an investment opportunity to see how capable it would have, how pull out or pull it off. And if it could, awesome. If it can't, then just chuck it all, because they're not too concerned about the developer in the long term. They just got exploited and used. So on one hand, it's like, yeah, it's unfortunate, but it's a sign of the times where we are with the game industry, and this is part of the crash that needs to happen. We can sustain independent gaming ventures that are done by people that have passion and want to really make legitimate projects, rather than just people that are facilitating widgets for a product. That's what we're ultimately trying to have happen here. So, I mean, sucks for them, unfortunate, but it's like, maybe don't take a job that doesn't actually have creative control in your favor, unless you're planning on not being cut off by another warm body at any point in time. There's no security in the game industry to begin with. So it could have played out differently, but also with what we know about it, there's no other way it could have, given the state of reality of the people that are behind the things that we talk about here on the weekends.
Yep, it's true. I mean, there's no taking it back now, but she did make some suggestions. So if these developers eventually get back on their feet and they say, we're going to get back out there, hopefully they'll learn something from this. But like I said, it's and the thing is too, and this is also the case for GTA 6, because some people were like, saying that there was an issue with the fact that people were reacting to the first trailer for GTA 6 featured the woman character. And people were like, see, like, when you do this shit to gamers or anybody for a long enough period of time, even if you try to put out something that's legitimately not woke, or at least you don't think it is, but it has some of the symptoms of woke in it, like some of the features, don't be surprised if people have a reaction to that. And I don't.
I was pretty apprehensive towards Fallout to begin with, and planned on
the show, right? Because the character they had a female character in it,
right? And I was like, oh, is this going to be what it normally is? And and by today's standards, is there stuff in there that that is kind of
there's a troon in it, but I mean,
right. But yeah, that is the most
gender confused person. But yes,
but that in and of itself isn't even handled, because that's just the actor. I can at least kind of separate that from the character within the game. But yeah, by today's standards, it's one of the better adaptations. But I went into it full well expecting it to be far worse than it was. But that's kind of a rare thing these days, because it's usually at this point, especially it's not the least of us. I'll say that much. But I ended up finding myself just enjoying it because it doesn't have an extreme Mary Sue type character or anything like that, and it's actually done in a more contextually driven way that gets the vibe check of Fallout correct. I'm sure there's people out there who'll be like, but the lore, and that's one of the things we're going to get to more on Thursday nights, because I want to actually kind of get into conversations because it is a controversial series in that regard. But to me, the games are always made to be games first, and this is actually, it's kind of like arguing about. By the time any of us became fans of Batman, it had already been in existence for decades. So there's always going to be some level of shifts and changes, interplay. Even when it first started out, from game 1 to game 2, they made shifts. So it always has to be accommodating to the state of the media that it is. And if it's a game first, then that's what they're going to do with it. And so the things that we played are elements of the actual story, but I don't think anybody who ever played any version of Fallout as a game has ever played the actual 100% lore accurate telling of what we're going to see develop over the course of how many years this series plays out. Because we've got about a decade before we see the next official Fallout 5 entry, probably. So enjoy what you can get at least, because at least gives you something to talk about in the meantime.
Yeah.
But
so here are the numbers. So Highguard peaked at 97,000, and right now there are 477 players. So on a game that is reliant on multiplayer,
yeah,
and it's free to play, this is not a good place to be. Like this is done. This game is done before it even got off the ground.
Yeah.
So I guess we can look forward to Marathon.
Right.
Pretty soon.
Right.
We're gonna, days.
If we keep eating this well, we're all gonna get loaded. Because I mean, so many great games keep coming out.
And the thing is, this isn't. I think that this. I don't think that this. I guess you could say this kind of game. This is being made by Bungie. Yep. I don't think that this kind of game, whether it's Highguard or Marathon or whatever, I don't think these games are long for this world. I don't think that people are playing them really. I mean, they've already decided, like, if there is like a shooter, like a multiplayer shooter, they've already picked theirs and they're playing it, right? Whether it's Battlefield or Call of Duty or, Counter-Strike, whatever.
Yeah, it's starting to escape my memory in terms of its name. But that one where you were playing together in groups, but you're all basically Iron Man.
Shit, that's on the tip of my tongue too.
Yeah,
Veilguard.
Anthem. Yeah, Anthem. Yeah, this is just gonna. That's where it's headed. It's We went through a lot of that.
I mean, again, Anthem should have been good. I mean, it looked cool.
Right.
And I think I got to play the demo, and I just got bored. I was like, why am I bored?
Yeah.
I'm a guy in a power armor suit, and I'm playing.
Right. Why isn't this more? Yeah. This should be a much better experience. Like you've got all the tools to actually do something. This is like asking some kind of monkey to just build you a house and construct it. It's like, I technically can use the tools, and you can be the best of tools that you have available, but it still just ends up giving you back this thing. You're like, what do I do with this? I don't know. It was a mess, and it was also a sign of the times too, because it was just another thing that just kind of came out trying to cash in on other properties that were, owned by other development conglomerates. Because ultimately you're just getting variations in skins these days, because that's the thing, is they try to make things to capture this wide net approach, and they ultimately make something for no one, and it's not going to sell just because it's made and put out there. We actually do demand quality in these things, and so we're always going to see this, like, until the industry actually learns to stop cashing in on something that became hot for a reason. It probably became hot for a reason because it was actually made by people who gave a shit about it in the first place. And when you're just trying to ape these mimic, these things that came before, there's always going to be a point that it breaks. That's what happened with Anthem, and that's what's happening right now with these games. Just, they need to learn, and they're gonna do one of two ways. They're either gonna change, or they're gonna lose a lot along the way and then change.
Yep.
Till then, the beatings will continue.
Until morale improves. All right, well, let us know what you guys think about this one in the comments. Let me look at some of your comments, and then we're going to move on to the next story. So, let's see. Master Goa says, these people are bragging. They are showing off their power by putting the symbols in your face and showing you what they do. Well, they do it for each other. They're signaling to each other, I think.
Right. That, and then they also kind of have to, by the way of their weird reasoning, that if you're fool enough to trust them to begin with, then it's on you. It's a karmic form of legalism. Yeah.
Let's see. Artforce says, not like the show started it. Do ghouls need to drink? I guess the Bethesda and Obsidian have had conflicts over what the canon of Fallout is, right?
Yeah, it changes. It's malleable. And it's I try to look at 'cause in this age of the woke, it is easy to kind of get hypersensitive to some things. So I try to at least give things a baseline entry of if I were watching this in the 90s or the early 2000s, would this, because like the first X-Men movies,
Oh,
were,
dude, don't even get started. Don't get me started on like as much as I like those movies, they are not the source material.
right.
Like,
No, they're not.
oh yeah,
But for the time, that's the way I look at it. Is like,
yeah, it was like as close as we were
yeah,
going
as
to get.
yeah,
Yeah,
and so when I look at
I
in
mean,
terms of
even Sam
adaptation,
Raimi's Spider-Man
right,
is wrong. Like
right.
Peter's just shooting webs out of his wrists.
Right,
Like,
but and so there's a certain point in time
just
there's a
saying.
certain point in time where I kinda go and I give people a little bit of adaptive, license to because like I said, Batman was decades in by the time any of us got around to even becoming a fan of what we're, now sitting here saying they've gone too far, and at this point in time, they have gone a bit too far, but that's still basing it just off of common sense reasoning, so
Yeah.
because it is easy to kind of almost get swept up in it to where because there are such extreme examples that we highlight here quite often that some things because that's why I was so apprehensive about going into Fallout to begin with is because of all the state of now. But when you actually kind of like just give it a little bit of uh room to breathe in terms of what it's doing, it could be far worse because there are a lot of things that are just putting it in your face specifically because you'll take it and also they want to get over the whole thing so they can continue to just perpetuate
Mhm.
the rot that we're all going through all the time.
All right. Well, let us know what you guys think about this one in the comments. We have to move on
Yep.
to the next story. So, in some news that I think is actually really promising and interesting, did you guys know that Zoomers are basically starting a resurgence of interest and purchases in physical media?
Yes,
So,
DVDs are the new vinyl.
yes, DVDs are the new vinyl. They are well, not just that, but vinyl is the new vinyl.
Yes, vinyl
So,
is the new vinyl. As I I have my thousands of dollars collection sitting
so
behind me in boxes. Yes.
yeah. So anyway, they're in music. So this is happening in music, movies, and video games. So it's
Indeed.
across the board. Obviously, in music, vinyl records have seen of the strongest and most consistent resurgence. U.S. vinyl sales have grown for the 19th consecutive year in 2025, rising 8.6%. So it's like steady, but more and more young people in particular are buying vinyl records of their favorite artists instead of using Spotify or Amazon
Right.
Music or some kind of like online thing, or even just getting MP3s.
Right.
You
Well, it's
know,
another one of the sign of the times kind of thing. I too got into getting vinyl because Nine Inch Nails. You used to get a master copy download free when you bought the record. So you'd you'd wait to get your record, and in the meantime, you could just listen to the music. Nowadays, it's one or the other, and I've gotten so many Nine Inch Nails vinyls. One actually just came out
mm-hmm.
yesterday. They have a remix of the last album, which was just the score and the soundtrack for fucking Tron. But that
Oh
literally
yeah.
just came out yesterday, and it's $40 for the vinyl pressing from their site, or $20 to get the actual high res FLAC file. So I'm kind of I don't have much money to throw around to begin with. So every once in a while, I'll maybe get something, and it'll be something like a record, and I'm sitting here going, it's so fucking annoying because at least there used to be a value of getting the record and it coming with the digital file. But I like to have both because planning for the future with the records. But it is nice to have copies that I can
Yeah.
just walk around with a little bit easier. But yeah, no, I totally understand.
Yeah, I have like a
Keeping hard
growing
copy
record
collection.
collection. I also have a lot of
Yeah.
CDs, a lot of
But
CDs.
it's a weird balance though too, because unfortunately there is a lot of disc rot that's happening for all these things that are starting
A
to
lot of
be
what?
decades. Disc rot, you know,
Yeah.
for CDs, like like they'll just start
I've
cracking in the
noticed.
back
I Yeah, I have like a couple of like big cases, right? Of
Mhm.
like CDs that I either bought or I had somebody burn for me at the time that are like pre the year 2000. So they're like,
Right.
you know, 30 years
30
old.
years old.
30
Yep.
years old. Yeah.
Yeah, my
And
first DVDs I
the
got were
CDs still work, but some of them they've just kind of. It's not because I'm really good to my CDs. They just break
right.
down
No,
after
they
a
just
while.
break down. Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's a thin layer, and the way that they were trying to always reduce costs and things like that, they made those layers thinner and thinner over time. And so there's certain periods where they're more susceptible, and just there's not anything that you can really even do about it. Yeah, that's why I always try to have digital copies and my hard copies as well. But yeah, if you want anything that's not able to be censored and altered, then you have to have your own decentralized versions, whether
Mhm.
it's hard copies or your own digital library. But certainly, yeah, getting away from the subscription service is always what I would suggest anybody. I don't pay
Yeah.
for sub services. I just get a VPN and I'll figure out things other ways. So
Well, yeah, we got to find a way to get. I prefer having physical media if possible.
Mhm.
But I think we definitely have to figure out ways to preserve
Yeah.
our music, our
I
film, our books, and our movies.
Yeah, I
Our
still have
video
a
games.
Blu-ray drive that I use
Mhm.
in an external USB 3.2 enclosure. So now I
Yeah.
just plug it in. Yeah.
I bought a Blu-ray player, even though I have a PlayStation 3 and a PS4.
Yeah,
I
PS5
bought a
as well.
Blu-ray
Yeah.
player just to have it for watching Blu-ray movies.
Right,
So
right. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah. So anyway, in terms of music, it's the main, that's making a big comeback. People are getting vinyl. I know it's not quite the same. I know
A
some
lot of people are buying
people are buying
PlayStation
wax.
specifically for CD players
Yeah, they're
these
buying
days.
PS3s, right?
CD, yeah, PS3s for DVDs and PS1s
Well,
for
PS3
CDs.
played Blu-rays, didn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So it was the best Blu-ray
It wasn't
player you could get.
Yes, at the time, yes.
Yeah, it
Yes.
had and that was just it was better than things that you could buy that were supposedly high end that it cost even more. It still
Mhm.
had the best stuff in it because it had to, compensate for game loads and everything like that. Whereas the other ones just kind of, it's just the nature of things. They try to reduce costs where they can. So
Yep.
yeah. But yeah, and a lot of people get PlayStation 1 specifically for hi-fi audio setups for their CD
Yep.
systems.
You can listen to CDs on it. Yeah. Yeah, I still have my PS1, my Xbox. Yeah.
PS2
Even the
is
GameCube, even
first
though the
DVD
discs are really
player.
small on it, you can
Really.
listen to CDs on that. What?
Yeah. PS2 was one of the first mass scale DVD players.
Yep. Yep.
So yeah.
So anyway, for music, they're going back to vinyl. The reasoning behind it, this is actually maybe even more important than the actual activity, is basically all about ownership preferences and
Mhm.
backlash against streaming. So for what the kids, they don't like the streaming.
Yeah.
They don't like the streaming. There's been price hikes. There's been content that's been removed from streaming. So
Right.
maybe there was somebody on Spotify they liked and they're not there anymore. So I just want to have it to myself, and they want to support the artist because in music in particular, the main way that artists make money is not through Spotify and streaming services. Let's say some kind of contract. You
Bandcamp
want to
used to
give
be
money
really good.
directly to the artist. You buy their records.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I got into Bandcamp for the longest time. Then it got bought out, and so now it's it's not terrible, but it's not, it's not as direct with the artist probably as the way that it used to be. But
Yeah.
but yeah, that's part of the reason why when I buy stuff, I'll usually try to actually even buy it from the .com if they have their own specific merch store, because ultimately that's kind of what it's about. But at this point in time, though, a lot of things are so superfluous that you're better off just buying T-shirts and whatnot or going to a show
Mhm.
if it's worth it. And that in of itself has a whole other kind of predatory kind of thing in the ticket pricings on things these days, but we don't need to go into. But yeah, it's there's no reason to do subscription services. It just it's walled off gardens, and if you're paying enough money to afford a subscription service at the end of the year, seriously, just get a VPN and figure out other ways to support the people you like, because they'll probably end up getting more money in the long term than listening to their music on Spotify or Apple Music or anything like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. So that's the thing with movies. That's the reason because like they say nostalgia could be a reason, but if you're a Zoomer, you didn't grow up with records. So, like, yeah, older people like myself, I
Mhm.
have records,
Oh
and I
yeah.
don't think it's nostalgia so much as I like the sound of records. I think
Oh
they
yeah.
sound,
Yeah,
you
the
know.
sound quality is a very
Um,
different thing.
yeah.
I love it. I would have my records, playing if I didn't live so close,
Yeah.
to the railroad
I was
tracks.
gonna like show you guys some records I have, but it's in the other room. But I mean, I have King Crimson. I have even like well, I have uh Michael
This stack
Jackson. I
right
have
here,
Prince's Purple Rain album, like stuff that I grew up with from the '80s that I
uh,
listened to. So,
yeah, I've
are
got
you
this
getting
one.
something?
Well, no, I've got I just I've got this one stack right here that you can always kind of see in the background. Then I've got
Hmm.
5 boxes that I have over 300 records in my collection.
Nice.
Yeah, and most of them are limited edition press sets. And I think I've mentioned it before. I've got uh, a Nine Inch Nails Halloween
Yeah.
misprint. I've got the limited the limited edition custom color misprint, and then I've got the standard version. So I've got one's pumpkin orange, and the other one's black. But I've got the misprints, and then I've got the represses, and so I've got 4 of these records that are all sealed together. And because it's a misprint, those alone, if I were actually concerned about the collection aspect, the that those ones right there are probably worth a couple $1,000. But yeah, for the most part, I just love listening to records
Mhm.
as well, and didn't really get them for any purpose other than that. But
Yep.
but yeah.
So getting back to the physical media, also movies, DVDs, and Blu-rays for 4K HD UHDs, specifically the Blu-rays and the 4K UHD discs. So they dropped a lot, like in the last 10 years or so, because
Mhm. They're
because of
getting rid of physical
streaming.
media and Best Buys.
Yeah, you like they just took out the sections, but they're rising. So they're still like on like declined over what they used to be. But the drop has reduced. So
Mhm.
for example, they would be like in 2023 and 2024, you see a 20% drop in, physical sales of Blu-rays, DVDs, and 4K UHD discs. But now in this last couple of years, it's only been 9%. So that means that more young people are buying Blu-rays and physical media now. It's not in the positive, but it's trending in that direction, right?
Mhm.
Reasons include that they're experiencing subscription fatigue, which I think is real, right? Because if you want to watch everything, you got to have Disney Plus, you got to have Paramount, you got to have whatever, all of the different services, Amazon, and you can't really necessarily find what you're looking for either. If you own it, then you're good to go. Plus, there's stuff that you can get on Blu-ray and DVD that you can't find on these streaming sites. If you have like this little like obscure B movie or something, or some foreign film that no one knows about, it's like the best way to own it. And I have like a massive DVD and Blu-ray collection. My wife really, she's constantly like, why do you have to have all these movies? Can't we just find them online? It's like, no. Like,
Right?
I want
Right.
to be able to
I've
just
got a
go,
copy of Song of the South,
yeah.
because, like, there's
And
certain.
not only do they remove movies and shows from streaming all the time, but they also alter them. And we
Right.
know we've seen that, right? Like I
Yeah,
think
they
Disney
did it
put out
to,
Splash,
Splash. Yep.
and yeah, and they covered up what's her
Daryl
name's
Hannah's ass.
Hannah,
Daryl Hannah.
Hannah's ass
Yeah.
in the movie. It was like, what? Why would you do that? So like, I don't want to watch it that way. That's conditional. Plus,
Yeah.
again, I have like a
That, and
pretty
you also
decent
don't like
size.
Tom Hanks, so there's no reason to
Yeah,
watch
I'm not really a big fan. I have like a pretty decent sized kung fu movie collection from like the 70s and 80s.
Right.
You're not going to find those easily online. Plus, especially when it comes to those movies, the titles are always different, like depending on where you are. So you can't really find it even if you're looking for it. So
Right.
yeah, I mean, I want to watch 36 Chamber of Shaolin. I'm just going to have it on DVD. I have it on DVD, right? So yeah, I mean, like when it comes to movies, anime, I'd rather own the physical medium or media of that.
Yeah.
So,
Totally
um,
understandable. Yeah.
so yeah, that's another one. And Blu-rays are just they look good, man. I have all of the Star. Well, I have the Star Wars prequels and the Star Wars classic movies.
You have
in a
all the
box
Star
set.
Wars. You have all
Yeah,
the Star Wars.
those are all the Star Wars. I have the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I have the Hobbit trilogy. The extended versions of those. And that's it. Like those are perfect
Yeah,
as
you
they
used to have the
are.
nice boxes for them and everything, and then
Yep, I got the nice box. I have the Chappelle Show in terms of TV shows. All 3 seasons, including the episodes that didn't get released.
Yep.
I have that collection, which I don't think you can really find online either.
Oh, yeah,
I have Band of Brothers, which is a great show that was on. It was on HBO. It was about World War II. Yeah, it's propaganda, but it was good. It was a good show, anyways. So, I have that whole thing.
I used to have everything like in all these weird, nice, immaculate box sets, things like that, like Lord of the Rings, like you were mentioning. But at a certain point in time, because I moved enough, I just got to the point where one year I just went and I bought a big folder and I just put everything in that and just
instead of keeping the cases.
Yeah, as much as I would have liked to, it's like my life's not really stable enough to hold on to that part of it, and I'm not ever going to sell these things. So at that point in time, it's like they're nice to have, like little collectible values and whatnot, but my geek cred is more about I actually care about what's in the stories. Like I do like the aspects of the aesthetic value, obviously, but sometimes you just have, when push comes to shove, it's like, well, at least I can keep the discs. But I because I'd rather keep it than sell it, and at that point in time, those were the options: is find a way to save space or just get rid of it, and I didn't want to get rid of it, so make consolations. So
retailers like Barnes and Noble have also reported increased DVD and Blu-ray sales, and there have even been video rental shops opening up, like Blockbuster. Not Blockbuster, but like them.
Right.
And
there's only the one Blockbuster in Oregon still, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, but we're starting to see Blockbuster-like businesses popping up, and I think that's, I don't know why, but that just makes me really happy to hear about. I think Netflix is kind of evil. I'm just saying, I think that's an evil company.
Back in the 90s, in this little small town I'm in, we used to have a walk-in arcade that you paid $5 to just play games for 3 hours.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that was a worthwhile, because it's like, if you went in and on a fighting game, you could so quickly go through $5 of coins and in that amount of time easily. So it was just like you could play all, like they had the old Sega holographic time travel game.
I remember that, the time travel one.
Yeah, with
it was like a time travel game. Yeah.
All just banks and rows of Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter.
You ever play the BattleTech game where it's like you get into a pod? It's like VR kind of thing.
No, I haven't played that one, but we had the Afterburner there, with the actual rotational seat and everything when you're in the F-16 cockpit. Well, the approximation of it, but yeah, it was cool last place. And so if there was something like that still to this day, in this little town, that would be like a rare gem.
Places like that still exist, but they tend to be in small towns. And in the Midwest, at least in the States,
right? There's
Midwestern.
Right. Yeah. There's I think it's, if I remember correctly, because there's in Lincoln and Omaha, I think it's the Family Fun Center or Family Fun Zone or something like that. But it's a locally owned business that's probably still, I would imagine, in operation. But yeah, you either find it in little tucked away nowhere places where it's just kind of like stayed in operation and people don't want to get rid of what they're doing, or there's like a few places that probably have successful businesses in a little bit larger areas. But for the most part, like gaming came home, but
also then there's the games.
Yeah.
So we talked. Okay, music is like the most shift amongst Gen Z in particular. Yep. Then TV shows and movies with Blu-ray sales, 4K sales, and then the games. Now those are still primarily, in terms of they're primarily digital sales, but that has more to do with the convenience because people can just like click on it and then they download it and then it's theirs.
Right.
But that's shifting as well. So the number of people that are using digital well, the number of people buying physical copies over digital ones is growing. So there is a trend upwards, but it's less, right? So it's more mixed. Physical video game sales are still declining with digital dominating. Estimates 80 to 83% digital for console games in recent years. Some reports highlight poor physical sales periods. So, for example, this last November that just passed was the worst hardware and software sales since the 90s. That's probably got more to do with the quality of gaming itself at the time. It was like, you know, it's still pretty bad, as we can see, at least in the AAA space. And I think especially in consoles. So we are talking a little bit about consoles here.
That, and they're kind of leading the trend in that as well. They went through the whole effort of making collectible editions that don't come with the discs to begin with, you know. So they can't put all of this on the customers not buying it, because it's like you're not even going through the effort to press these things, even when people go and actually want to support you in a legitimate way. The new version of wrestling for WWE that's coming out has 4 different editions. The most expensive one starts at $150, and then all the monetization stuff they have in there ultimately would cost. Again, it's kind of shitty, but it's also one of those things where I think you can actually earn within the game itself. So even though this is kind of profiteering and the commoditization of things, it's to like just a terrible fucking level, it could be a lot worse. But it if you just want to get all the stuff in the game, costs around $500.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, there's various reasons, and I'd hope that for $150 you're actually getting a hard copy of the game, unless you're getting it from Steam,
you mentioned one. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. So what's going on is that there's a rise in the number of people buying physical copies, but they're usually part of like a collectible edition. So like, you know, you get it and it comes with a figurine or something else, but they're getting it for the physical copy, not necessarily for like
the tchotchkes.
Yeah, for the tchotchke stuff that comes along with it. And I think but that number is showing the demand. So we don't know if it's going to happen for sure, but I think that there will be a move away from digital as being the primary driver. I think that even GameStop had talked about this, since this is like their area is like to sell you physical copies. So like the drivers. So anyway,
yeah, we could easily go back to a cart system at this point in time, you know, with SSDs. It's so
you'll get a soundtrack. Exactly, John Ford. So they'll like, you get it with a soundtrack, you get it with a figurine, you get it with something like a pin, whatever it is.
Various little odds and ends.
And I think that people they don't necessarily want the tchotchke stuff. They want the physical game, but like there are still, like, for big releases, there are still these sort of collector's editions coming out, and there's more people doing that. And it is like, at least coming from the market of people who are collectors. Like, you know, I guess I'm kind of a collector when it comes to movies, because I have like so many and I like to display them. But anyway, it's not just that, obviously. So there are the drivers behind this also include backlash against streaming services. Again, we have ads, we have price increases, we have changes in content, we have a lack of permanence, which I think is like the biggest one, where, you know, you don't know how long the game is going to be around, right? Like, so you're paying for it, but you're really kind of like borrowing it or leasing it rather. But then there's collectability, and Gen Z has an interest in tangible items. They want to support artists directly. They want to maybe display something for a collection. It's not a return to dominance. Digital streaming is still overwhelmingly leads right now, but physical formats are carving out a viable niche, especially for premium and collectible item. The trend appears strongest in music, emerging in movies, and weakest but with pockets in games. So I think that, but the thing is that if Gen Z is moving in this direction, I think that game studios or developers are going to have to respond to that, or they're going to get left behind. So I think that I don't know, no guarantees, but I think that that's where we're going. Okay. So, okay. Let me see what you guys are saying, and then we're going to look at some highlights from Steam's Next Fest, because that was kind of like the the main thrust of the video.
Indeed.
Okay, so let me see here. Zering says the vinyl that people are getting isn't the same. What makes vinyl special are the recording processes at the time, mostly. Well, I don't know that we can recapture that, but it is still nice to have a physical record. Norwegian says PlayStation 2 was the game console and DVD player when I was a kid. PS2 has officially been named the greatest console of all time. I don't know if you guys know that. I mean, I always knew it was true, but Raging Rat says, so is gaming physical media making a comeback or not? Well, it may. I think that we'll have to wait and see, because like right now, Nintendo is doing like those cards.
Yeah, and that's what the thing that I was actually sitting here just I'm glad you mentioned it, because I was thinking about saying this when you were first talking. That's our biggest issue ultimately at the end of the day, is the authentication key card kind of business, because that's the thing that killed Microsoft in its beginning of its death spiral, to where it's now getting sunsetted more than likely, which I'm sure we'll get into in the weeks to come a little bit more in depth, because of everything that happened last weekend with I guess just elbowing out of Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond. Not that I'm going to really miss her by any large degree, but the AI that she got replaced with is, a sign of the times as well. Yeah, I think that's really the main reason why, the only way to ensure that you're not going to get locked out of your games, more or less, and that's why there's the resurgence to the physical media, because otherwise you can't really trust, because they'll go and they'll give you a physical media these days, and it still won't even be physical media. It'll just be a DRM authentication key, so it's there's got to be a little bit of give and take in terms of customer ownership, and you putting something out there and just letting it stand for the test of time, and not trying to sit here and think that you can couch away all the evils of the world by censoring stuff out and changing it later on and doing all this revisionism. That doesn't change the state of human condition. Like, we have far more brutality in our DNA than any level of the thin veneer of civility that they try to code everything in, and thinking that if you go and stop using this word, that'll somehow be the same thing as stopping the thing that the word is referring to. That's that's what we're learning with all the Piss Stain Island stuff specifically, to a large degree, is it doesn't matter what you call it, it matters what you're doing. And if you sit here and try to censor what they do on the exploitation ghetto platform, which is why I prefer doing these streams on Rumble, and why I always put the links out for Rumble, is because you're not as beholden to not saying certain words and this and that. And so same thing, that's all that this stuff ultimately gets down to, is people don't want to be censored, especially after the fact, in terms of something that they've found that they can actually enjoy in their life. We just want to be left the fuck alone to a large degree. Yep.
All right. Let me see what else you guys are saying. So Robert Johnson says, I miss record stores, arcades, hobby shops, malls. Yeah, they're still those things are still around here in Roanoke. I like being in
Roanoke.
This
was a
town.
nice place for
small enough that it's
kind of quaint.
Like yes, I love it.
Yeah.
Let's see.
This place reminds me of it hasn't really shifted too much since the 90s in certain ways, but Roanoke, I would say, has a feel for late 2000s kind of vibes. I imagine that hasn't shifted terribly too much. I was there when they used to have the Sam Goody store and whatnot, or was it Towers, when I first moved there the first time.
I know the Towers. Yeah, my wife.
Yeah, I used to live right over in Tanglewood section.
Yeah, Tanglewood. Yep, absolutely. Yep. The Tanglewood there is like what COVID, I guess, because I moved here during COVID. So when I got here, there was like not a lot going on, and it looked a little bit more like deserted. But over time, the people here weren't really that conformist towards the COVID stuff. That's one of the reasons why I came here. Yeah. But now it's very like, it's definitely like the mall is like a mall. Like I go in and there's a
and that's never gonna change about that place. Yeah, it's a nice looking mall too.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, so Raging Rat says, hello, Raging Rat. Yeah, most streaming sites don't have any swords and sorcery or 70s and 80s cheesy sci-fi. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, the way that, at least with Amazon, that's the only one I have, and that's only because I have a membership for the delivery, not for the streaming. they do like trends, so it's like they're scheduling what you should be watching, and they'll put content in based on that. So there was a sword and sorcery trend, and you would see some of these like B movies like Beastmaster and Deathstalker and the Barbarians,
Right.
and Conan the Destroyer and Red Sonja, and then it'll be gone, and they'll bring in some different trend. Maybe you'll get a bunch of Bond flicks. Then maybe you'll get like some science fiction stuff. But it was on their schedule, not yours. So that was the thing. It wasn't like it's always available. It was more like they would make available. It was like they were programming the shows anyway, even if and the movies.
Yeah.
So I didn't like that lack of choice. Let's see. Artforce says, especially you can often get the physical disc cheaper than the streaming version. Yeah, the people can like buy and sell used movies too. Raging Rat says, dude, that's super cool, man. I hope it continues. And yes, Netflix is evil. Proof is cuties. Yes, for sure. Artforce says DRM shit is evil. Yes. John Ford says, just played the Scott Pilgrim EX demo. Yeah, I played it too. It was okay. I didn't really blow my mind, but I do have some other highlights I'm going to bring up because that's part of the Next Fest, right?
Yeah.
So let me see what else you guys are saying. Raging Rat says, Honey Badger Arcade, have you guys heard about what Sega of EU has recently done to some dude? If not, Gamers Nexus did a story on it. No, I don't know, but I don't know if we have time to look at it right now. I'll look at it afterwards.
Yeah, maybe we'll cover it next week, depending on what it is.
What?
I said maybe we can cover it next week, depending on what it is.
Yeah, maybe. Toasty with the Mosty says, John, what's up, Toasty? All right. So anyway, let us know what you guys think about this one in the comments. We're going to look into the next story. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of the highlights from Steam Next Fest. And basically there's a bunch of demos. So like, I don't know if that's what the Next Fest is, but they have like a leaderboard for the most played demos, direct metric of player engagement via unique players and concurrent peaks. So at the top is Marathon, but I think it's mainly because it's gotten a lot of hype and everyone's talking about it right now. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to sell well, but it's interesting. But I don't know if you've looked at any of these already, but what are some of the demos or games that the Next Fest got your attention?
I'll be honest, I haven't. I was completely blind to this one. I need to actually look into it. I've been so caught up in just doing all my other work lately that I didn't even know what was going on.
Right.
It's like yesterday when you're like, oh, cover Next Fest. It's like, all right, well, this shouldn't be too terribly hard of a thumbnail to do. But even in what I did was just so far, I just became aware that it's going on through this week, and and started actually last week on the 23rd. So I need to check into it though today when I have a little bit more downtime. But I'm still making Gooner reels.
Yeah. John Ford says kind of like River City. Yeah, I mean the original Scott Pilgrim was a lot. They were obviously taking a lot from that too. Yeah. But I don't know, like the EX demo, I played it for a little while and it didn't grab me in the same way the original one did. And the original one is okay, but it's not like there's other beat 'em ups that I think are more fun. Like I like River City Girls. I like Streets of Rage.
I don't know if it's part of this, but I know the guys from Cult Games got one of their games out in demo now, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I thought when I heard about it being called EX, I thought it was just going to be like the original game, but with more stuff in it. But it wasn't. It's a different game altogether. But you can try the game out for yourself. So here are some of the ones that I thought stood out. So let me share a couple of these. So first, we're going to look at John Carpenter's Toxic Commando. I'm not going to play the sound. I'm just going to hopefully this won't be too janky. But this demo is available now. And so it's basically like a 4-player, I think, kind of co-op thing. Think like Left 4 Dead. But it's John Carpenter's brainchild. So
I've seen some stuff for this.
Yeah, so definitely has a different vibe to it. I don't know if this is going to show gameplay in this trailer. It looks like it's just like an animated thing. So let me just
Looks like
jump
it's
to
got some
this. Maybe this
screenshots.
will be
Yeah.
better. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is going to show some gameplay. So, and you know, there's vehicles, and I don't know. I thought it was pretty decent. You have like special abilities, and I
Yeah.
really like John Carpenter and everything that he's in. By the way, they're releasing like in theaters. They're going to be re-releasing The Thing, and if you've never
Ooh.
seen that, that's like one of the great movies.
I
that
actually
he's
have
done.
that score on vinyl.
You have on vinyl.
Yeah.
The score.
Yes.
Yeah.
For The
Yeah, of
Thing.
course.
Yeah. I've got a special edition. It's actually I think 2 records if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's in a slip sleeve covering and everything. Yeah, it's fucking great.
Yeah, I mean, like you're it's not just, it looks like it's just like zombies, but I guess it's toxic commandos, like they're like mutations, you know, so it's not just going to be zombies. So, and it's going to have vehicle combat, it's going to have lots of weapons, you get special abilities, it's got RPG elements. So when I see it, I think of like 2 games. I think of Dead Island, which had like RPG elements, which I liked, and Left 4 Dead.
Yeah.
And it's for 4 players, so it could be a good time.
Yeah, no, I mean, if it captures the vibes, they haven't done like a really good version of this squatting about. There's various things, you know. I don't know. It could be something that if you're into John Carpenter stuff, I think that this is one of those things where it's actually kind of being done more as a project of, hey, let's take a concept of this creative vision and at least do something with it. And so if it works, it works. We had so much fun playing. What was it? Friday the 13th. When, you know, and that seemed like a game that just was kind of just relying on the property. I think the same people that are doing that are doing the Halloween one now.
They are, yeah. Ilphonic.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the same guys. It's mainly, I think, because of licensing issues with Friday the 13th, because like so many different people have owned that property, right? So. What?
Toasty's making demands of me. She told me I need to take out
the trash. Okay.
Yeah, she's my work wife. She reminds me of you know, things that I need to do.
Yeah. And they're so again, it's basically like Left 4 Dead with RPG elements, which is why I say I compare it to Dead Island, because Dead Island was like an RPG as well, and they were both 4 players, and there's different characters. So Toxic Commando looks pretty good. I like John Carpenter. I think it's promising. I don't know if I'm going to get it right away, but there's a demo.
There's a demo, so yeah, you can actually check into it.
The demo too. What was that?
I say there is a demo though, so you can check into it. So that is kind of a nice thing.
You can try it yourself. Yeah, check it out.
Let these games speak for themselves.
If you want to try it with me, let me know. We'll try to like link up and play it together. Okay.
Indeed.
Okay. Another one for people who are fans of Vampire Survivor. So I never played Vampire Survivors, but I know that a lot of people love that game. They have a new one coming out. There's a demo available right now. It's called Vampire Crawlers, and I guess it's
3D.
It's like a card battler RPG thing, like very different, I think. But like again, everyone's talking about it. It's got a lot of buzz, so I thought I would share that with you guys. So it is described as deal world-ending combos and blitz through infested dungeons. Vampire Crawlers, a turbo wild card from Vampire Survivors, is a casual turn-based deck builder with roguelike elements.
Yeah,
roguelite.
It could be pretty interesting, actually. I kind of like what I'm seeing with it. You know, depending on how they go about playing with the card mechanic kind of thing. I mean, ultimately, when you're talking about a turn-based combat, why not do it with a deck? Yeah. Seems like
you guys could also
simplified way of kind of running through things.
Yeah. You guys could also just check out Dvergold, which is made by the guys behind you know, the Cult Games guys, and there's a demo available for that too. If you guys don't know, definitely check that one out. I mean, this is for people who might be interested. Here's another one that I thought was kind of neat. That was also has a demo. I haven't played this one yet. Called Far Far West.
Ooh, Cowboys!
And it's a 4-player, up to 4-player co-op shooter, and you're basically like cowboy robots. And you blast monsters, you sling spells, you complete missions, and collect bounties.
Hey,
so
if it doesn't take itself too seriously, this might actually be.
I don't know.
Yeah, you know, I enjoyed. I definitely with Red Dead, as we mentioned earlier, the Red Dead Online. You know, of course, I have my little backstory with what I did with the game. But I used to just love, going out and doing silly cowboy
This
shit
could be
with my
fun.
friends.
This could be
So
fun,
it could
friend
be.
slop. I might
Yeah.
download this and ask Lindsay to download it
Yeah.
for the demo. That is, I'm seeing this for the first time, so
Right.
very weird. You say it's not a real game. Are you talking about this game, Far Far West? Is this not real? You got to be kidding me. Oh, this is a demo. That sounds kind of cool. Yeah. Artforce says, to be honest, the roguelite infestation is getting kind of annoying. Yeah, I don't know if those are like going to be sustainable. So
Yeah, it's
all
like
right, here's one that everyone's been
we were talking
talking
about
about.
earlier.
What?
It's like we were talking about earlier. There's a tipping point on everything.
Yeah, exactly. Here's one everyone's been talking about. I did download this and play it a little bit. Gabriel says Vampire Survivors has caused a slew of games to be labeled as bullet hell now, despite having nothing to do with actual shmups.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
so
slop wouldn't happen if there wasn't a spillover.
Yeah.
To be quite honest, because that's why it is slop, is because the bucket that's supposed to retain it from getting everywhere, and that's when you start getting just the things that are just kind of done, going through the motions rather than having like a reason to kind of be driven by something more, I guess, intimate to the creators, to put it in quick terms.
So this game is called Windrose. It's been talked about. I think Asmongold talked about it. I learned about it through somebody else named Super Butterbuns, I think is her name, and she makes these fun videos, and she loves it, and it looks good. And I downloaded the demo, and I mean, I'm not good at these games. This is sort of like a survival adventure, so I think it might be comparable to Conan Exiles. That was like a survival type game, or even like Minecraft. But Black Flag X Valheim, and I liked it. Robert Johnson says, yeah, I haven't been able to make time to play it, but I did like what I experienced when I was playing it. And it's in the age of piracy, and there's magic in it, and you're fighting the land and sea. You can solo, you can play with friends, you build, you craft, and you explore. So this is the thing with me. I'm not good at the crafting and survival stuff. I like to just play, just go fight monsters, level up, get loot, continue the loop. So but I'm not saying I couldn't do it. It's just that I'm not good at it,
Right.
So Windrose is an awesome band. It looks like what Atlas should have been. So yeah, I would say check out Windrose. Another game that's really high on the list.
So we have gotten pirates, zombies, vampires, and robots.
Cowboy robots.
Yes, cowboy. I think we've hit all. We just need ninjas.
No. The one thing you don't have is gnomes. So we have.
Oh shit! Burglin gnomes.
These are like the top downloaded demos too. Indeed. What I'm talking about. These are the most popular ones. So Burglin gnomes I've played, and I was playing before Steam. I think this event started, but you play 4-player co-op. You break into this old man's house, and you basically try to cause as much havoc as possible.
Oh, this could be great.
And we've played it. It's hilarious, but it is very janky. It's very janky, but you have to be okay with that. So
hey, for just the silliness factor, it might be, this is
extremely
even if
silly.
this is friend slop, this might be the most
absolutely. Well, I don't mind friend slop. I actually don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, no, but that's I'm willing to give a little bit more leeway on jankiness when it comes to just having outright silly good times.
Yeah. So yeah, you basically have to complete a certain number of tasks in order to please the high gnome. And
can you gift demos to people? Because I almost want to send this to Tomby.
I don't know if you can gift demos. I guess you can send the link and say download this.
I'll just send the link. I'll be like, Tomby, you have to absolutely get this, because he does game streams, and he's a wee little man who does awesome things.
Oh, it's apparently it runs on like shit on Steam Deck. It does. You can play it on there, but it's not like
it might sometimes some things play a little bit better in OS mode. I've come to find, oddly enough. So I might check it out, because it does seem like some stupid fun stuff, and there's always room for stupid fun. You know, we need to play Repo again at some point in time. That's
absolutely. Okay, so next up we have a if you like your weeb shit, we got Fate Trigger. Fate Trigger is a 3D style anime hero-based tactical shooter powered by Unreal Engine 5, available across multiple platforms. So it's a tactical-based shooter with waifus, which I mean, that might be enough for a lot of you guys. I don't know. Like, I would check it out. I think I did start a download of this out of curiosity because I was curious if it was just fan service or if it actually has depth.
Yeah,
but it does look good. But we're looking at like a cinematic, right? So,
right.
Yeah.
No, if it's got decent centralized play mechanics and has the presentation for it, I see. There's this is the beginning of the cell shaded waifuing that we're going to see in a lot of things.
Oh, we're definitely going to see a lot of that stuff for sure. We're going to see a lot of this stuff.
But a lot of it actually is making its way into the actual gameplay, like Ananata, you know, the game that I'm looking more forward to than GTA 6.
What?
You know, Ananata, the one that we covered
Ananta.
Before.
Yeah, Ananta. Yes. Yeah. Let's see. What else we got here? Okay, yeah, here's another one that might be interesting for you guys. So there is a game called Everything is Crab. And everything is crab. It's an evolution game, animal evolution roguelite, another roguelite.
Right. Everything becomes a crab ultimately.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, evolutionarily, everything ventures towards crab. So everything is crab is a great concept, I suppose.
Yeah.
Is the most highly evolved form of evolution, they say.
Yeah, if you like this kind of thing, I guess.
Right.
There was another. Oh, well, let me look at my own list because I have a few games that I was just like, "What the fuck? This is so weird. I have to play it." So I already told you all about Darkhaven, which I made a video about and we talked about, made by the guys that made Diablo 2 and Diablo. Excellent, right? Then we have, I got to show you guys. Okay, first let me show you guys Yap Yap again because I love this game and this one was also quite popular for people. It's basically another friend slot game, but you play wizards and you cast spells with your voice. Basically, you say the words and the spell happens. So, you know, it invites all kinds of shenanigans and wackiness. The game is literally $10. I think it's worth it. And again, like, I mean, I think that like these games right now are going to be very popular. Look at all that.
Yeah. Similar to,
what?
Does this have a thing in it like Repo where you have to carry things collectively?
No. It's in Repo you're taking things and extracting. In this game, you're basically destroying things and defiling.
Okay.
So it's actually less about managing stuff. It's not like
nice.
Company
So a little bit more Twitch.
Yeah, but it's about it. You're basically mischievous little apprentices that know a little bit of magic, and you go into this archwizard's tower, and you're basically causing havoc. Nice. And you can brew potions. You get different wands that have different spells, but you have to ultimately please your archmage, I guess. And it's a fun time. I like Yap Yap quite a bit. So I think it's a really good time.
You have to send me a link to this one because I might have to suggest this to Will because we do unlock games. So after we get out of here today, that's probably what I'm going to do is some jackboxing over on Will's channel.
Yeah.
But we're looking for good multiplayer games and for $10.
Oh, Yap Yap for sure. If you don't have Repo, go ahead and get that.
Yeah, he's wanting to do Shredder's Revenge right now.
Try have him download the Berglund Gnomes demo. I'm not for sure. I think Yap Yap allows up to 5 players or 6 players, like Repo does. But Gnomes might be 4 players. So, but yeah, I would just check that out. Okay, here's one that I did not expect to like and get into, but I did play the demo for this. Dino Blade is an intense action RPG set in a prehistoric world forever changed by a cataclysmic event. You are a dinosaur, a Spinosaurus, with a sword, and you basically fight other dinosaurs with swords.
Beautiful.
and you have to. It's well, I mean, I don't know what else there is to say about it.
Right.
It's
It-
crazy, and interesting. But yes, Friend Slap is a new party game. Yeah,
Indeed.
Phasmophobia got a new map and 3 new ghosts recently. Cool. What else? So yeah, there's that. So I thought that would show you guys
That's
Dino
pretty
Blade. I don't know.
fantastic.
It's just and there's bosses.
It is
and
what
you
it
can, like,
is.
get summons. Like I beat a boss that was like one of these dinosaurs that would charges you with like the horns or whatever. Not a triceratops, something else. And then I was able to summon him as like a spell on other guys
bosses and things
out
like
and
that.
charge
Yeah,
them.
that's cool.
So just a weird game, but I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. So, all right. Then here's one. It's if you like Dynasty Warriors type games, this is the Awakener Battle Tide Flow. For some reason, it says Battle Tendency. That's a JoJo reference. And you are an elf woman warrior, sexy elf chick, and you're basically fighting hordes and hordes of goblins, ogres, orcs, hobgoblins. And there's you basically shred monster hordes and craft your own style with hundreds of affixes and talents. You just kill, loot, and grow. So I guess there's also like a different character, but the demo lets you play as a female elf.
Nice.
Warrior. So
surprisingly,
yeah,
that is
what?
Oh, last night, one of the guys who's on our show, he makes AIs of Toasty, and he made one of her as like more of like a battle mage, and various things like that.
What were you playing?
We weren't playing anything. Kyle, he was making AI versions of Toasty. This being a battle elf girl just kind of got me thinking about like the stuff that he was making last night, and surprisingly, it was similar, but she was not technically an elf. But this looks pretty sweet.
Yeah, really. I think my last one. There's other stuff I could show off. There was this one. Okay, there's this one game called Shell Soldier. I tried to demo. I might make a video about this one to show off the demo.
Yeah,
but
well, this goes. I think this goes through this ends on the 2nd or the 3rd, if I remember correctly. So yeah, there's definitely time to, after you get done, we have free time today. Definitely go check out, see what we're showing off here, and just the other stuff.
Yeah, so Shell Soldier basically is a first-person shooter. It's Fear. Like these guys are bringing back Fear. It has like the bullet time stuff. I don't know if they're going to show any in this gameplay, but definitely check out download the demo for this if you want to. If you like Fear, which with the and all of that, like you can see him doing it there.
Right.
Throwing knives. This one was actually pretty fun. Yeah. I gotta say, I really enjoyed it. And again, small studio. Fear at home.
Yeah. I mean, the nice thing is these demos won't go away, but they'll at least be highlighted for the following 2 days from when we're doing this. So this stuff's looking pretty sweet. This is why I 2025 was definitely the rise of the indies in gaming, and kind of us just saying, no, this is our hobby, and we want it to actually be about just good times and actual legitimate things that pertain to gaming, and not all this other agenda infiltration bullshit. So things like this is great to see. Yeah.
All right, last one I'm going to show off, and then we're going to wrap it up. This is Might Rhea. This is another weeb game. You are a schoolgirl that is obviously a superpowered person that fights kaijus, and you get filmed by a classmate who wants to be a streamer. So,
nice.
And this one it's got insane like combat in it. It's sort of like a basically it's an action game with intense combat, and again, it's a small. I think this is a pretty small company. Sulaco, Trepang 2, and Severed Steel are all inspired by Fear. Yeah.
Yeah. No, this is looking pretty sweet.
No, it's crazy. Like you are flying and all kinds of shit. Like it actually gets a bit hard to like see what's going on. It gets
Right,
pretty
right.
insane. I don't know if they're going to show a lot of the combat. I think they're like setting up the story stuff here,
Right.
but which I don't know anything about. But I just know that there's giant monsters, and you're like a super powered schoolgirl, basically.
Nice.
So yeah. What's the other? Yeah, you see how they're like in the air, and you're basically leaping from place to place. You're fighting giant monsters.
Yeah,
So-
badass, waifu games. Yeah, we love the ladies in games.
Yeah, we like this stuff. We're okay with this.
Yeah.
And it's all it kind of reminds me, it's like Kill la Kill. I guess if they could make a Kill la Kill video game without the license, that's what this would be, I suppose. To some degree, I don't know. But anyway, those are the demos that really jumped out at me that everybody's playing right now. Some of them I know about, some of them I'm discovering for the first time.
Yeah, Norwegian Tippler said something here in the chat that just got my mind thinking. He said, "So you essentially play as an elf woman trying to preserve her virginity." And I'm just thinking that I can't wait till somebody goes and makes the Amelia game, where you're fighting for the reestablishment, the restoration of white culture in Europe, and you have to battle the influx of illegal immigrants. Or even legal immigrants in their case, That'll probably have to be a twitch.io game, though. might be a little, I don't know. I'd love to see it.
Yeah.
Amelia, the game.
Well, those are the game demos that I thought were most interesting. And, this is like in light of, a lot of the stuff that's happening to like the big studios, but a lot of these smaller ones are doing a lot. And there's so many more we could have talked about. I know that Defect is like well underway. We talked about Into the Black. Yeah. There's a game called Pizza Kid, which is like a side-scrolling beat 'em up that's pretty good. There's a couple of mecha games, Mecha Force, and there was another one called Neuroxis. Those are they all have demos. So
yeah, one of my college buddies is working on something that hopefully he can get out around July of this year. Given certain kind of reasons, it would definitely be best to capitalize on that. But he's working on because I like to always highlight stuff that I know is coming from people that that I went to school with that are still doing it for the right purposes. So yeah, I can't wait to find out more about Defect, and Into the Black should also probably be there. I think Into the Black's got its demo out, which because we covered it here. And then I don't know when the beta's starting specifically for Defect, but hopefully that'll be here soon.
Yeah, I'm hoping for that as well. I mean, I did try to
but yeah, definitely support the indie games, and
definitely
the next Festa is at least built around that concept. Unlike this is a much better way about kind of doing the thing that we were just kind of going after Highguard for, is the highlight of games that are coming out in the format that Jeff Keighley does it is dead media. This is actually just here's the thing, go get it, and we'll highlight the stuff that seems interesting and make it a little bit more accessible.
Yep.
So
all right, well, we're gonna end the show here, guys. Thank you guys for coming on the show. What do you got going on this week, John?
Immediately after this, Will was talking about doing some Jackbox games today, I believe. So probably gonna pop over there. Suggest to him we got to do, of course, reviews for Red Dwarf tomorrow. I'm going to suggest to him that we finish up the season that we're on, and then do the ranking that we keep seemingly put off that we're supposed to do on Tuesdays. Of course, that'll be tomorrow, starting at 10 a.m. Eastern. If all goes to plan, and of course, you can always find me there with Will on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays with Iris Rhoda. And Toasty joins us on Thursdays for Wanker of the Week, which is where we get petty and kind of talk about the lol cows of pop culture and the wider space of things. But yeah, that will be immediate, and then of course I gotta prep for that show, and otherwise I'm going to be working on the reel that I'm doing for Scooby Pup, and hopefully I'll get that finished here in the next couple days. But Toasty and I obviously do our stuff here on Rumble. at 8 p.m. Eastern, Sundays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays every week. And of course, we do our thing here on the weekends. But outside of that, we're going to start also doing some gaming streams on Monday night on Killer J's channel for Fallout 76 stuff. So yeah, I don't know, things, just staying busy. And definitely, if you guys are interested in Fallout coverage, we've done 2 episodes so far of our Thursday night reviews for Nuka Nights that we do over in our Fallout shelter, specifically on Toasty's channel. It's probably the thing that in my creator journey that has been the most rejuvenating, because the burnout does have a tendency to kind of like find its way to where you feel like you're just kind of doing, you know, variations of the exact same thing. It's slotting out the assholes that we talk about week in and week out. So it's kind of nice to have a little outlet where we can just kind of have it be about the fun things that we can actually enjoy. So again, I don't know, you watched the series all the way through, right?
Yeah.
So definitely, if you're ever free on Thursday nights to talk about that, you're always welcome to join us. And then also on the Fridays, if you ever want to just kick back and have a little bit more laid back night, we do our basically we're the internet refrigerator, and we just kind of do real-time art submission stuff while we're there, or else we just show off the stuff that we've been working on throughout the week. So yeah, I've been keeping real busy lately, and it only seems to be more of that. So thank you, everybody. It's great to see. We had well over 10 people here on the Rumble side throughout the mainstay of the stream. So thank you so much, everybody in the chat, for being here with us from the beginning, or if you joined along the way. But of course, with all that said, it's a pleasure always doing these things with you. But y'all have a wonderful weekend going forward. Of course, safe travels ahead, and be awesome as always.
All right. Well, thanks, guys, for joining us on the show. Please let me know what you guys think about what we looked at in terms of the stories, but also the game demos. And if you check any of those things out on Steam, let me know what you guys think about them, because some of them are games that you probably would get. Some of you will probably get more out of them than I did. Not that I thought they were bad, it's just not very good at them. So, but with all that said, thanks, guys, for coming on the show today. If you guys like this video, please hit like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, hit the bell for notifications. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you guys think about what we discussed on the show today. And please, please, please share this video, because sharing is caring. Thank you guys so much for coming on this episode of The Week in Culture. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Long live Vivian.
With the glass ceiling broken, all the oppressed groups shall prosper, especially the most oppressed group of all, gamers.
I want people in the industry to be a little bit louder about people being mean to other people, and maybe say it's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Maybe say we don't want you around if you're going to be a cunt.
Yeah.
And hateful. And that the games industry is diverse naturally. Not because anyone's making them be diverse. Because the world is diverse, you stupid motherfucker. Yeah! And if you have a problem with that, come fight me. Physically. Bitch.
Has anyone taken you up on that yet?
No, because they're all pussies.
Yep.
Down here, salt is a way of life.
Obviously, the environment down here is all salt. The ceiling's salt, the floor is salt, the walls are salt, and to an extent, the air is salt. And you breathe that in, and you can constantly taste the salt.